Hello cellists, welcome to the music room. Now listen, I owe myself about 5 hours practice. I was supposed to be doing the Bruckner suite. I don't know if it's Bruckner or Bruckner or Bruckner. I actually don't know because he's new to me. I've never played his stuff before. If you follow these broadcasts, you'll know that I'm absolutely sick to death of this piece now. However, the trick is to have a bit of a rest. So I had 5 days rest. Now I owe myself 5 hours, but I'm going to catch up, so don't worry about that. Now I've just done 40 minutes, but what I'm doing now is two massively important things that I'm doing. One is, actually it's three. So I need to listen to the piece. I found my headphones that go into my phone, and if you bypass the TV, unless you've got surround sound, it's so much better. My TV sound system is rubbish. You know, it's appalling. I was missing all the bass. Now I've got my headphones, and basically I put them into my Mac, put the same YouTube video on, the Bruckner with the score, right, and followed it there, but I had to blow it up so that I could see the score. And I do need to sort out really good glasses, and I think I'm going to have to print it off. I didn't want to because it's such a waste of paper, isn't it? But, I mean, I've got it on my iPad. I might just use that. But, you know, a paper copy is wonderful because you can see what everyone else is doing, if you get the whole score, that is. Or what I quite like to do is get the score with the bass on it, the bass and the violas, for example, and you can follow them. It's very difficult to follow, you know, the French horns and this and that and this and that, because the paper is so massive. But if you, well, it's not the paper is so massive, you've got to keep turning pages because you're only getting one line of your stuff to each page. And anyway, the headphones I put into my Mac, and one of them was more bassy, which is fantastic. I mean, I haven't fiddled around actually to see if I can up the bass a bit. It may be that I can in the EQ. Haven't done that yet. But I can hear the bass, and for me it was in the right headphone. So took the left out because you know those violins, my God, they go on in this Bruckner. Plus, I accidentally at one point on the YouTube thing, I was playing the violin. No, I was playing the viola part, and I thought, God, I'm not in tune. Why aren't I? They have a different clef to us. That's why. And then I was playing the violin part. We've got a few pages off. Towards the end, I think there's 2 sections that we have off, and where we don't have anything to do. And because I'd enlarged it, I couldn't see where I was, so I was just playing their part. But you know what? I'm really good. I'm really, really good at the violin part. Violins too, I think. How funny is that? I mean, do you know what annoys me? It really, really hacks me off actually that the violins always get the tune, but we have got a bit of it. We've got, and they. Guess what? I was actually coming in on time because I've got the headphones, and after doing it twice, and I only did the first section, the intro section. Okay, that's 20 minutes long, and this is what we've got to do now. If you're doing it with me, we play it a few times, 5 times in a row. It'll really get stuck in, because doing the whole thing en masse is too difficult. You forget things, and it's hectic. So I'm going to spend all weekend doing the first section, and I'm going to catch up with all the times that I've missed, and then next week I'm going to start on the second. Do you see what I mean? And I'll spend 3 days on that, and then I think the 20-minute one, the intro, is the longest part. I'm not sure, but it's because the finale goes on for bloody ever, doesn't it? It does, I recall. I think the intro might be the hardest bit, but that's because I've been doing it today. So finally I'm understanding when to come in. I'm hearing who I'm going to follow, because you can't follow everybody unless you're the conductor and you know this piece really, really well. And you've got time to sit down and do it all, you know. I can't do that. I can't learn all the parts. So I'm going to pick one of them. But tonight, what I'm going to do, bedtime, I'm going to listen to it a few times on headphones so the neighbours won't complain. And I'm just going to follow it with my finger, and I'm going to decide who I'm going to follow, because I get mixed up when I'm playing along on the headphones. I'm mixed up because it's different to a real orchestra. I get mixed up with who's got the tune. Is it the horns? Is it the violins? Is it the violas? And I don't know what's what. So I'm going to pick on somebody and I'm going to choose them. And that's going to help me to learn to come in. But the other biggest thing is these headphones on my phone, play it as I'm decorating. There's a fly in the studio. It's very annoying. As I'm decorating, I've got no excuse because, guys, listening is learning. We don't have to play it every day if we're listening to it every day. And I tell you what, I'm playing so much of it by ear. And this is why it's important just to sit down and do it at full speed, because your hands become automated and you just play it by ear. You don't have to know the notes you're playing. You know intrinsically, if you're a cellist or any sort of musician, you know, yeah, it's higher up, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's this position, it's that arpeggio. You just know. It just happens. It's an amazing human skill. And the more you listen, the more your ear improves. So I'm actually a little bit more excited about this than I was yesterday. I was putting it off. The other thing is, don't beat yourself up, right? Don't beat yourself up if you miss a practice. It really doesn't matter. But the closer we get to the proper orchestra practice, when you're with other musicians, you don't want to let them down, the closer you should feel guilty. The more you should feel guilty if you miss a practice. So certainly the last 2 weeks in June, you should be really on the ball, okay? But don't worry if you've missed a bit. I've missed loads. I've been decorating. It's been hell. And, you know, all the other things I do. What about on my bike? I cycle everywhere. Guys, do you know what I'm going to put my headphones in and listen to the Bruckner when I cycle to Mum's for dinner tonight? That's what I'm going to do. I mean, obviously finding my headphones was fantastic because I'm decorating, you see, I found it. So I'm not going to go note for note through the pieces. The fast bits are pretty fast. I'm not going to lie. Also, the bits where it's I can't remember, I haven't got the scores closed down now. Hello, Romeo. Stress the first beat and the second. The first, second, and third and fourth beats go la 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 la. Do you see? And it makes it much easier to stay in time with everybody else. Really hear the da 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 da. Okay, really helps. It's a godsend doing that. I mean, if you can work with a metronome, do it. I don't want to for this because I prefer working with the orchestra. The orchestra is my metronome, do you see? If I was practicing just the cello part without the orchestra, I would definitely be using a metronome. And that's perfectly acceptable. It's absolutely fine to do that. But it's not what I want. This experiment, this great 30-day experiment that we're doing, and don't worry, we've missed a week, but I've still got 30, we can still get 30 days in beforehand. This experiment is to show that learning online with an orchestra over and over again is the best way to do it. I really feel, I believe that in my heart of hearts, in my little cello heart, I really believe that. Okay, so that's it for now. I mean, I don't know if that was any help at all. Oh, guess what? We've got a forum now. I've set up a forum at Telltale Club, and there's a music section. And, you know, if you're a cellist or whatever you are, with this Bruckner, this full orchestra, just sign up. It's all free, and we can share stuff. We can talk to each other. There's a members chat box, and we can chat about, you know, how bloody awful bar so-and-so is. Do you see? It's great fun. It's really, really good. It's free to sign up. You can get it on your phone, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And it's just the best thing I've ever done. And it's for artists and musicians and writers and composers. And you know what? I've been watching the news today, and I had it on all day, sort of in the background before I started my practice. And there's been horrible, horrible things happening. A serial killer and this and that. And I wish they'd put up trigger warnings for that, because I'm a very sensitive individual, and I feel the weight now, the weight of the sadness and the horror of what this man did. And they explained it in such detail, and you just think, why do we need to do that? You know, we don't, and this is the problem with the media now, and this is the problem with what do they call it? Clickbait. The only way they're going to get you to listen is if you express grotesque horrors, that are happening in the world. That's the only way people are going to click. And this man, he found out all his got his inspiration from an American serial killer, and he got it all on the internet. He thought, well, hang on a minute. Are you suggesting, which I think, well, they're not suggesting, but I'm suggesting, I'll tell you what I'm suggesting, because I've always thought this, that the internet creates monsters. It creates them. We've got to be very careful what we show our children. So, although, there are expletives in the work that I do, and there's lots of adult content and things like that, but it comes with just warnings, and I'm not saying that we all have to be puritanical at all. Of course I'm not. But I'm saying we need to protect people. We need to protect especially young people and young minds. And they need to know the difference between fiction and faction and fact. And they're not getting that. Anyway, I realise that I'm on the wrong show to be doing this. You might want to join my 60 Summers show, where I waffle on about things that mean a lot to people like myself. So Telltale Club, join the forum. It's absolutely superb. We have great fun over there, and it would be an absolute pleasure to meet you.